Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Audacity Network and welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I am your host, Pearl, and today we are going to be talking about Brett Cooper leaving the Daily Wire. So, as you guys know, I talk about the Daily Wire a lot on this show, and last year, Candace Owens was let go from the Daily Wire because they had a difference of opinion. Now, Candace Owens said some things that were maybe more pro-Palestine. The Daily Wire is more pro-Israel, and so because they had a conflict of opinion, they ended up letting Candace Owens go. Now, when Candace Owens left the Daily Wire, it was a huge spectacle. I think there were lawsuits that came out of this. It was a very dramatic exit, right? There at one point there was going to be a debate between the two, and I see this often with women in media, right? They go into an organization and either they file sexual harassment claims or they kind of take the whole organization down with them. And what I really respected now that Brett Cooper has announced she is leaving the Daily Wire is that she was very respectful in the way that she handled it. I thought it was very classy. As you guys know, I do think Brett Cooper's a little bit gynocentric, but overall, her takes remind me of maybe some of like she reminds me of me a couple of years ago. And I think she's got a good show. Like I think she's good at her job. So I wanted to show you guys the farewell like video that she did.
Some of you have heard the rumors online, and the rumors are mostly true. Today, December 10th, will be my last day hosting the comment section and working for the Daily Wire. It is not true that I am being forced out. It was my own choice to leave. And believe me, this is bittersweet. I have had the most unbelievable 3 years helping to craft the show, building this community, and telling stories and sharing the truth every day. Through the comment section, you all have made me braver, more articulate, more thoughtful, more hopeful than I could have ever imagined. And I'm grateful that we spent this time together. And I'm grateful that the Daily Wire gave us a platform to grow this community. But at this point in my life, I am ready to take on a new direction, both personally and professionally. This means new challenges and new endeavors, which I will share with you soon. As for this show, the comment section will continue with the Daily Wire. My producer, Reagan, is taking over as host of the comment section, and I wish her and the Daily Wire all the best. We have had 3 great years, and I am proud of what we've accomplished together. Leaving the show and the platforms that we've built is hard, but I'm very excited for what's to come. Knowing that we have brought so many people together in laughter over these last 3 years means the world to me. I appreciate all of you, so let's chat again soon. But in the meantime, go touch some grass, kick some rocks, and we'll catch up shortly. And now for some final thoughts from the God King himself, Jeremy Boring.
Bittersweet indeed. We're sad to see Brett go, but we're excited to see her take the next step in her journey. Brett's an amazing talent, both as a personality and as an.
One note I want to make is it doesn't seem like female talents are panning out for networks because much like our voting blocks, men seem to be more consistent and stay, where the women have a tendency to leave. I noticed Amala left, Brett Cooper's now leaving, Candace Owens left. Not a dig, right? It's not right or wrong, but it's interesting to see this trend sort of happen in media.
An actress. It's been a pleasure to see her bring the comment section to life these last 3 years, and her performance in the Pendragon cycle is sensational. I'm certain that whatever Brett creates next will be filled with the same joy and laughter and heart that she's brought to all of her work at the Daily Wire. And we wish her nothing but the best.
So, my friends, while I have you here, I thought we could run it back one last time with the comment section.
So it's interesting because there's a lot of speculation online. So online, they're saying maybe she was forced out because she had a difference of opinion with Jeremy. Other people are saying that it was that's what they're saying on paper. It was peaceful. But, being in media, you do sign NDAs. And I don't think it's right to disparage former employers just because you have a difference in opinion on a topic. Like, I didn't really like the way Candace Owens did it. I just thought that it was very like trash. It's kind of trashy to go out, get into a lawsuit, shout Christ is king as a way to attack them. Like, I mean, we all kind of knew what she was doing there, right? So I do respect Brett a lot for this decision. I like the way that she went about it. I think it's very classy. It'll be interesting to see what she does on her own. one theory I have is maybe she just got married, so maybe she's walking the walk, which we don't really see much in media, right? Maybe she's actually going to be a mom and quit the media stuff. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm excited to see what's happening. Now, the next story that we're going to cover is the simp epidemic that is going on. And as most of you guys know, I have been fighting on the front lines of this epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic a week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male testosterone is half of what it was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stack contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. Okay, also guys, make sure you go to theaudacitynetwork.com if you want your comment to be read. I'm going to take a second and read the comments on... Oh, there aren't any yet. Okay, go be the first on the website. Theaudacitynetwork.com. Make sure you guys go comment there. I do read all the comments in that chat. And it's available on the Apple Store. Okay, so the next story that we're going to cover is a woman I saw on TikTok that was a literal prostitute at 68 years old. So as you guys know, we are going to see a crazy surge in selling sex. Relationships are going to become incredibly transactional in the next decade. And I saw a TikTok of a woman who was literally selling sex at 68 years old. Let me pull it up.
I'm 68 now.
Your life ain't over, girl. Your life ain't over.
Well, how long you want me to do it? Good God, 68. There's nobody. They already teasing me. I'm the oldest dude in Tucson.
Oh, word?
Already teasing me.
Okay.
That's old.
So how long are you gonna do this? Just till you can't walk anymore? Just like as long as you need to?
Well, I'll have to slow down in the future, but I can't just keep doing it.
Yeah. So Queenie, right?
I came from Florida, and
how long you been out here?
All summer.
Okay.
And I came to look for an Indian husband, and I get a little $800 check every month. Social Security, but that's all they give me is $800. So I still have to come out and try to work a little bit. $800 a month and $90 in food stamps is not much to live off of. So I come out and I pick up a few dates. Now the most interesting man that I met was a middle-aged white man. He was about 60. And we went to his house and he paid me $100 and we watched Disney Borton on television. And I gave him a nice job. That was one of the exciting adventures.
There you go.
And then...
Did you say Disney Borton?
Huh?
Did you say Disney Borton?
No, Lizzie Borton. Lizzie Borton.
Oh, Lizzie Borton. Okay. I don't know what that is. Is that like an actress?
Well, she was Lizzie Borton. She lived around the 1890s.
Okay.
But I was 21 years old, and there was no money in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, I I had a hard time getting jobs because all I had was the 8th grade education. So that's why I started prostituting.
You like it? Like you actually like it?
Well,
Or you like the money?
I like the money.
Gotcha.
Well, in those days, I wore $100 dresses every day. And that was like $200 a day.
Yeah.
And I lived in motels. And it wasn't really grand, but it was okay. I survived. I didn't ask my relatives for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my relatives, we did not get along. We did not like each other.
Okay.
I was a too.
They didn't like that?
No. And they did not like it. So I just
So how's things been in Tucson?
It's been okay.
Did you work all night or you just come out in the morning?
Just come out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy overnight. So be careful.
Yeah.
You dress really nice.
Oh,
by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So what's been the scariest experience you've had since you've been out here?
Well, I would say a quarter of the cars I get into are scary because you'll never know what's going to happen the next. And some of them act like some of them, if you don't give them what they want for $10 or $5, they'll leave you there. Leave you where they picked you up at.
Yeah.
I mean, leave you on a back road someplace.
Yeah, stranded.
And I don't like to do $5 and $10 dates. Okay. I feel like it's degrading. You know, some of these girls do things for appeal.
The blues, yeah.
I don't do things for appeal. I don't do that. I think it's degrading.
So when you get paid, does that go to like hotels and food and just regular stuff?
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's good. That's good.
Now, in Florida,
what's been the best experience since you've been doing this life?
The best one?
Yeah, the best experience.
Well, that night when that man took me to his house and gave me $100 and we watched Lizzie Borden, that was a nice experience.
Yeah. And then after that, he just dropped you off?
That's right.
Yeah, got you. So do you have to make like a certain amount a day?
Well, I try to at least make 100.
Yeah. 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 Have you ever had to defend yourself out here?
No.
Because this
Thank
seems
God.
like a scary job.
What I liked about this video, it's obviously gross, right? Prostitution, ew. But what I liked about this video is it's very raw, real, and it's not performative. You can always tell after, like, say, after Nala converted, you know, she's going on these podcasts, she's making it this whole spectacle, making it this whole show. And that's what I see when a lot of the OF models or prostitutes come out and just start crying later. You know, to a lot of them, it's either a job or they get off on it. It's they either do it for attention, they like having sex with a lot of guys, or it is just easier than working. And, you know, I think the more psychology that we put into this and project onto them, the worse off people are going to be. Because in my opinion, you have to let people suffer the consequences of their choices and deal with them. It's not helpful to people to not let them accept the consequences for the choices that they made. Okay, so the next story that we're going to cover is yesterday I covered the story of a man that committed suicide in India. And this was a man who left a hour-and-a-half long video and a 20-plus page suicide note detailing some of the abuse he received from the court system in India. Now, I had a lot of questions that I had unanswered because on paper, India looks a lot better than the United States and many other countries in terms of the court system. The reason being is that if you look at the divorce rate, it seems like it's a lot lower than other parts of the world. So I really wanted to bring on somebody that was from India and that could tell me a little bit more about some of the things that are going on in India. Is she on? Yeah. Oh, she's not yet? Okay. Oh, dang, she's not. Okay. Okay, well, you know, she's going to be on in a second. Let me message her to come on. Come on now. All right, let me check the chat and then we can go back to her. Otherwise, we may move on to the next story. Okay. Charles says Nala's future and where the OF women are headed for hells and bells with their newfound feminist freedoms, but for the simpedemic and the simps who will buy into their BS. That was more than sad, Rob said. None of it's real. It's all a high. Yeah, the way I view this stuff, and by the way, guys, if you have a comment, I do read it. It's $10 a month, $80 for the year, and then all your comments I read in the chat on here. It's like YouTube, same chat, but you just put it on the website. So, normally you have to do a super chat in order to get it read, but here, all you have to do is pay the monthly fee, and then boom, your comments are read all month. So, also we have merch and I wanted to get you guys' feedback on the merch. It's just Pearly merch if you guys want to check it out. Hello. How are you?
Hi, Paul. I'm good. I'm sorry I have a really bad throat, but I hope you'll be able to hear me.
No, you're fine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for getting me here.
I'm sorry. Could you introduce yourself and maybe like your role in what you do in India?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dipika Bharadwaj. I'm a documentary filmmaker predominantly, but for the last 12 years, I've been focusing my work on men's issues in India. I've produced and directed 2 documentary films on misuse of women-centric laws in the country. One was on misuse of dowry laws, and another one, which was called Martyrs of Marriage. It was on Netflix. From 2018 to 2020. And there's another documentary that I've done, which is called India's Sons, which is on victims of false rape cases who were eventually proven innocent. So I bring these stories out where men are the victims at the hands of women. Daily suicides, false accusations, domestic violence, spousal murders, adultery, everything.
Okay. So it's interesting because for a period of time, I used to think that these things didn't really happen in India. Because on paper, if we Google your divorce rates, they seem much lower than the West. So could you tell me maybe a little bit more of how long these issues have been going on and maybe some of like the legal framework that caused them in India?
As far as I can remember, almost in late 1990s, there was kind of a very vocal voice that started coming out that men are becoming victims of false accusations in India. This very problematic law, which is called the anti-dowry law, which is also something that is discussed in the suicide of this gentleman called Atul Subhash, which you've spoken about. It's called IPC 498A. It was brought in 1983. So essentially to protect women from domestic violence and cruelty at the hands of their husbands, particularly in context of demand of dowry, which is kind of a phenomena which only happens in India, where a bride and her family has to pay as per the demands of the husband, and it's called dowry. And there were a lot of cases where women were killed, women were beaten up for these demands, and that's why there was a need for a provision to actually control this. And so in 1983, this law came about, but within few years, any marital dispute sort of started turning into the allegations of dowry and the 498A being filed on the husband. And what's peculiar about this law, Pearl, is that while predominantly a lot of these cases are now matrimonial disputes where whether it's incompatibility or it's extramarital affair or it's just financial differences or career differences, invariably the woman out of spite would file this case on the husband. But it's not just the husband. The law allows you to implicate not just the husband but any of his family members or relatives. So what started happening was it was not just the husband, his father, no matter how old they are, mother, father, brothers, sisters, husband of sisters, wives of
Wow.
brothers. So there have been cases where there have been approximately 12 to 13 family members implicated in one criminal case. And this is a criminal provision. This is not a civil provision, this is a criminal provision. The husband and several family members get used to be arrested immediately and thrown behind bars on a mere complaint by the wife. That sort of changed in 2014 after almost 30 years of the law being in place, because there was just so ridiculous, horrid misuse of the law recognized by the apex courts in the country. So after that, the arrests have sort of now got controlled. They are not as much, but the numbers that we are talking about is 120,000 cases of this provision 498A get filed in India every year, out of which minuscule number are found to be true. Rest are either settled with money or found to be blatantly false. So, yes, the divorce rate in India in comparison to the West is much, much lesser, Pearl. But
Mhm.
as much as I know, there are no very concrete statistics or data collection that happens in India. A lot of these statistics that we see are from some agencies that are calculating the divorce rates, which are not really Indian. So I'm not really sure if it is that low as it is projected to be, because we are seeing divorces, thousands and thousands of cases coming into the courts every single day.
Yeah, because what happened was I used to have a panel show, and there was someone that would argue that India didn't have these problems because you guys have arranged marriage there. But I kept getting messages from men like from India saying that like the stats weren't like talking about something, or that they like I heard about the dowry laws, so I didn't really understand it. So you're saying essentially at one point the wife's family gave money to, the husband and his family, or just the husband?
The husband and his family, because in India it's by default that the wife has to move into the husband's house.
Mhm,
And we in a lot of households right now also have a joint family system, so it is the son that takes care of his parents, so his wife moves in with him. And some families, in fact most of the families I would say, till date are in joint family system, where at least the parents are staying with the son and their daughter-in-laws. But there are, of course, a lot of houses where it's just the husband that the wife stays with, and there are nuclear family.
mhm.
But it's kind of so this concept is a little tough to understand, Pearl. But what happens in India is, um, because the son is essentially taking care of
Mhm.
his elderly parents and they are going to be staying with him, the daughter of the family, when she gets married, a lot of parents want to give away part of their wealth to her at the time of her marriage, because she's setting up a new home.
Mhm.
So it's initially started as gifts and essential items to be given to their daughter, which was her share of the wealth of the property. But it had deteriorated where the groom's family started making these obnoxious demands. It continues till date.
Mhm.
It is a very prevalent practice. There are cars that are given in form of dowry. There,
Mhm.
some people give house as well. Some people give cash. Some people give household items. So it happens today as well. But I would like to believe that in most cases it's a mutual exchange.
Yeah.
So and not really imposed upon. But yes, in a lot of cases it is imposed upon as well.
Okay, and so they essentially made that illegal, is what you're s I is what I think I understood. They made that illegal, and then the woman decided, and because the families were involved, then the woman was able, so if she doesn't like her mother-in-law, she can put her through hell. If she doesn't like the sister, I mean, how often do the in-laws get along, right? That's, like, impossible. Maybe in India, you guys don't have that problem, I don't know, but
No, we have that problem everywhere. They
yeah.
don't get along.
Yeah, so essentially, if she's feeling spited, this law makes it able for her to go and just make their life a living hell too. But you said it
Absolutely.
stopped in 2014, or it's not as prevalent?
No. So 2014 is when an amendment came in the law where the arrests that the entire family or the husband being put behind bars, that sort of got a prohibition from the Supreme Court of India because the law was getting misused so much. The law has been there since 1983. It continues to exist. The law is still there. Dowry, or this exchange basically that we are talking about, has been made illegal. So anybody asking for this money or anybody giving this money is technically illegal, but it continues.
So I've read online that a man in India can be prosecuted if he has sex with a woman and he does not marry her. Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
So what law prohibits that? Like what is that under
It's
the
it's
dowry law or is that something else?
No, that's absolutely a different law, Pearl. And what I'm going to tell you is going to completely shock you.
Mhm.
There have been cases where the woman has been in a consensual live-in relationship or a sexual relationship with a man for 5 years,
Mhm.
7 years, 10 years, and then they broke up for some reason. And because the man did not marry her, she pressed rape charges on him, saying that her consent for sex was obtained by promising her marriage, which did not happen. And there are thousands of such cases that are happening in India today. And for the last couple of years, these cases have gone up tremendously. And obviously, this is, I would call it, an absolute misuse of what rape actually is. But we are talking about anything from 10,000 cases to maybe 12,000 to 15,000 cases being filed every year of this kind, where no matter how long the relationship was, no matter whether the man actually made any promise or not, the woman just has to write in her criminal complaint that he could obtain my consent by giving me a promise of marriage, and now he's not marrying me, so he be sued for rape. Until now, this was rape. Now they have brought in a absolutely new provision, which is called Section 69 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. And it says if a man has sex with a woman by promising to marry her, and they've not restricted it to just marriage. They say if he promised to give her a job, or if he promised to give her a promotion, and that doesn't happen, it will not be called rape, but the man will be prosecuted and put behind bars and can be imprisonment
Wow.
imprisoned for maximum of 10 years in jail.
Wow.
Yep.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about the man who committed suicide? So, I could only understand the parts that they translated. I didn't really get to watch the whole video, but could you maybe tell me more about that case?
Yeah. So Atul Subhash is a 34-year-old man who hanged himself to death on 9th of December. He left a 90-minute suicide video along with 24 pages of suicide note in various packs where one he kept it for people to read, one he sent it to the President of India, one he sent it to the Prime Minister of India. So he got married in 2019. According to him, his wife was not really interested in this marriage, but because her father was very ill and he wanted to really see his daughter getting married, so they hushed up the wedding and then they got married. And she expressed her displeasure with the marriage pretty much early in the marriage. But he, sort of tried to make it work, tried to make her understand that this is what our life is now. But she wasn't quite happy. Then soon after, COVID hit, and a lot of complications started happening because of COVID. She had conceived also at that time. Then her mother, Atul's mother, started living with them. That led to a little bit more conflicts. But the breaking point in their marriage came when Atul's wife started asking for 50 lakhs is what, 5 million. 5 million for settling her brother down in his career.
5
And
million,
Atul,
5 million, what's the currency? I'm just gonna translate it. So 5 million what? Is it
it is
rupees?
it is 50 lakh rupees.
15 lakh rupees? Okay. Lakh
50
rupees
lakh rupees in
to
dollars. You're
US
good.
dollars. Okay, so that's like 17,000 US dollars, guys. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said that I'm not going to give that kind of money. He did give them quite a lot, but then he eventually put his foot down that I'm not going to spend my money on establishing career of your brother who hasn't anyways been serious about whatever he's doing in his life. And that became a point of contention. She and her mother and her brother sort of conspired against him, started ill-treating him. She eventually left him. By then, their child has been born. So within few months, she left him, and then she filed this case that I was talking to you about, 498A, and unnatural sex charges, hurt charges, domestic violence. She had filed 9 different cases on him in the last 3 years. And not just him, he, along with his elderly parents, his brother, was also made an accused. And the woman went to the extent of implicating them in a murder case. This is where the things get
Wow.
extremely dark in India. She claimed that her father died because he became a victim of demand of money by her husband and died out of shock, whereas her father already had heart ailment. He was suffering. He had natural disease, and he passed away. So after 2 years after her father's death, she claimed that her father was murdered because of this demand, and the cops registered a murder case on this man, and he was completely dumbfounded that how can something like this happen. But then it's a small place in the country, and the cops can be bought, and there is extreme corruption in the system. So, one after the other, he kept getting a lot of these cases from his wife's side. And she was asking him 3 crores, so we could get that in dollars as well. 3 crore Indian rupees.
3 claw?
No, three crore.
Okay.
3 crore.
To US dollars. Okay, that 3 craw. I don't know why it's not 50. Oh wow, that's $58,000.
Yeah, so that was the money that she was demanding from him to set him free and to sort of take away all the cases that she had filed on him. And he said that he's not going to fund his own destruction, and he refused to pay money. He had been asked to pay maintenance for the child, which was pretty high. And he was not being allowed to see his son at all. And he has left the evidences where the wife is saying that she's not going to let him see the face of their child. And while she was pursuing all of these cases to get money from him, so he just got completely fed up, and he said that the system is so stacked against men that there is no hope for justice, and he just killed himself. And we are seeing these suicides almost every day, almost every day.
And this has gained a lot of attention to the point, I mean, I'm in America and I saw the case. Do you have any hope that it maybe will change some of the laws there? Have politicians responded? Has the judge gone under review? Like, what is going on there since this has
So
happened?
as of now, there's for the last, I think I've been working on men's issues for the last 12 years. This is the first time that I'm seeing an uproar of this level, this magnitude in India over men's issues in particular, or suicide of a man. So I'm hopeful that probably this will lead to some change. I don't have too many hopes because this is just too
Yeah.
big a country, and every issue just dies down within 2-3 days. And probably it will be the same with this case as well. But some politicians have spoken up. The media has been very supportive. It's quite a surprise to me. For the first time ever, the media has been extremely supportive, because that suicide video is very, very heartbreaking, and he details the trajectory of his life from the day he got married to the day he's dying. Within a span of 5 years, it went from there to there. So it struck a chord with people, and they were like just wondering that how much can you push the person to the wall? And obviously, anybody can, will just break down in such circumstances that you see your parents suffering, you see your siblings suffering, you're separated from your child, you have absolutely no semblance of the affection of your own child, and then you are being squeezed out of your money, your hard earned money, and you continue to pay the system that is basically working against you. So just too many people, saw a lot of pain in this case and are speaking up. Some parliamentarians have spoken up, but unofficially, there have been no discussions in the parliament so far. We haven't seen that. But yes, there is quite an outrage over this case, and I really, really hope that something positive comes out of it.
And have you spoken to his family at all? How are they taking it?
Well, they are devastated, Pearl. They are obviously completely devastated. And what is really, really sad is that the criminal charges that have been pressed against the entire family, they will still continue.
No way.
Yes, yes,
Wow. So
because they have.
the criminal charges have. So is child custody in India settled in family court, or do you guys have family court, or is it all criminals? Criminal.
No,
Okay.
we have a family court. Yeah,
Okay.
these issues are taken up.
It's just the
there.
dowry is criminal. That's
Yes,
settled. Okay, that's in criminal court.
Yes.
Okay.
So let me explain this. Why it is very different and very problematic in India is you could tell me more about the US laws in the US. But so on the criminal side, you would have these charges of either dowry or criminal breach of trust. So, multiple sections under one criminal case. So that you fight in the criminal court. Then you have the Domestic Violence Act, in which the woman can ask for maintenance as well as residence rights, or injunctions or protection orders. So that's a separate case. Then there is a separate provision altogether for getting maintenance, which is called the 125 section of Criminal Procedure Code. So she can ask for maintenance there as well. So there are just so many avenues where just one dispute between husband and wife is tried, and the husband is basically the respondent in all of these cases because these are all instituted by the wife. He just feels a little sucked up because he has to attend several dates in the courts. And what really is very disturbing, Pearl, in India is that these cases can go on from anywhere between 4 5 years to 15 years, 20 years, sometimes 25 years. Some
25
people have,
years?
yeah,
How old are the
yes.
Is it when there's an age gap with the kids or what? Because for us,
No,
once the kid's 18, unless you get on alimony to like 25, that is a long time.
that is absolutely a long time. There have been cases where the couple has been separated, living separately for 20 years, and the cases are still running in between them. But anywhere from 5 years to 10 years is the average amount of time that it takes, unless the man decides to just give in the money and settle the case and then just get away with it. And that's why in most of these cases there are now exorbitant money demands, monetary demands, because they know that you can just harass the person through the process of the courts and the law for as long as you want, until he breaks down to just give in and just says that, okay, I'll just give you whatever you want and then give me my life back, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that here too.
In the West, it's not that the litigations are not that prolonged, I guess. I mean, and I'm assuming there's a bit of fairness. They do look at both the sides.
No, they
In
don't.
here,
That's not.
India, no,
No,
no.
they do not. No.
All right.
It's
Okay.
sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but no, like I'm laughing because it's absurd here too. But I haven't talked to anyone that's been in litigation for that long unless there's a big age gap in the kids. So if one kid but they had one at 15 and one as a baby, but that's not really,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of children here, so that's not too common.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's just that there are just too many platforms that you have to go and fight these battles at, and then there's a lot of corruption in the system, which Atul also spoke about in his suicide video. So one instance that I really would like to share, which he's described in detail in his suicide note, is uh, he was asked to come in the judge's chamber during one of their hearings, and this female judge told him, why don't you just pay the money to your wife and settle these cases? Why are you even fighting? You're earning decent, so why don't you just pay her and then settle these cases? And he said, ma'am, I want to fight on merits. I have not done anything wrong. She's falsely accused me and I want to fight on my merits. And then she asks him to give her 5 lakh rupees, which is $1,000. No, not $1,000, something like that.
It's like five to $6,000.
Yeah, $5,000 to $6,000. So yeah, so she asked for that money, and she says, if you give me that money, then I'm going to give you a favorable order, and if you don't, then I'll ensure that you get as many dates as possible, and you'll have to come to the court. So this man was traveling from Bangalore, which is in south, to Jaunpur, Uttar Pradesh, which is pretty far, must be at least 2,500 kilometers or maybe 3,000 kilometers. So he had to take a flight every time, go to this place, attend the litigation, come back, not being insured whether there's going to be a hearing or not. And in the last 2 years, he says he attended 120 hearings and got nothing out of it. So this whole system is very, very burdening, and it just takes a toll on you. It just takes a huge mental toll.
And out of curiosity, is the standard for young people today arranged marriages? Is that still typical in India?
I am not aware of any data if we have, but arranged marriage setup is quite prevalent in India, still quite prevalent. But in urban pockets, there are just a lot of marriages that are happening where the couple was already in relationship and then they got married.
Okay.
But even in urban pockets, arranged marriages are quite prevalent till date.
Okay, I was just curious. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Good job. I like the work you've been doing. You've been covering this case really closely on Twitter. Do you want to tell my followers where they can find you?
I am Dipika Bharadwaj. I am with the same name on X, Instagram, YouTube, and I would really, really request your audience, Pearl, to watch my documentary films. India Sons, particularly, is a very, very sensitive issue, which is right now very, very disturbing in India. There are just thousands of men who are being implicated in false rape cases with impunity. And there are proper gangs that are now operating, that are sort of filing these cases and extorting lakhs and crores from men by these false cases. So it tells plight of men who were falsely accused of rape and how blatantly false those cases were, where they had CCTV footage that they were not even there at the place of the incident, or they did not even know the woman, had never seen the woman, did not even know about her existence, and then she slapped a rape case on them, and they had to fight it out for 3 years, 5 years, and things like that. So it's quite shocking on what's happening in India and how the system is absolutely turned a blind eye to fairness, equality, balance, and fair investigation. So yeah, Martyrs of Marriage is on YouTube. It's on my channel itself, and India Sons is on my website, indiasons.com. I now run an organization called Ekam Nyay Foundation Pearl. It's called EKAM. That's Ekam Nyay. I don't know if it's visible or not, but that's a T-shirt that I'm wearing as well. It's EKAMNYAAY.org. Please do take a look at our work, my documentary films, and all the lives that we have tried to have an impact on by working on ground.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paul. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a second to read the next. If you guys have anything. Oh wait, are you still there? Is she still there? They want you to spell your name. In the spelling in India, or that's too much for us. They're not gonna know how.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
It's DEEPIKA, Dipika, Narayan, Narayan, and Bharadwaj, Bhardwaj.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Charles says none of it's real. It's a high. See, that's why you guys gotta be on the website, right? He didn't know how to spell her name. In 2 seconds, boom. I read it. It was read. All right, or not. I know you guys got a lot going on. Okay, Rob says that was more than sad. Okay, I read the other one. Okay, so the next story I want to cover today is I want to talk about Lily Phillips. So I have talked about this woman on the show again, but as you guys know, there has been an influx of the OnlyFans and Cornstar to church pipeline. And I want to show you guys the stages of this and how this happens. Now, I'm not saying it's bad if OF models come to church, but I personally would not want to bring my husband. Sorry, ladies. I don't know why nobody thinks about these things. So Lily Phillips, OnlyFans models, cries after sleeping with 101 men in a day. Sometimes I feel so robotic. An OnlyFans model who slept with 101 men in a day breaks down in tears as she recounts her 24-hour sex marathon. Lily Phillips, 23, had sex with over 100 men in a day back in October to create some scandalous content for her subscription-based social media page. But despite previously insisting that she enjoyed the extreme stunt and the sex, all that sex didn't make her feel good. Sometimes I feel so robotic, Phillips admitted in YouTube Josh Peters' documentary titled I Slept with 100 Men in a Day. The British sex worker fought back the tears as she recalled that day. I think by the 30th, we're getting on a bit. I've got a routine of how we're going to do this, and sometimes you disassociate and it's not like normal sex at all. Although it was momentously frisky freak, it wasn't all memorable for the young woman who admitted she didn't remember much of it. In my head, I can think of like 5, 6, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it, she revealed. But it's just weird, isn't it? If I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I did 100. That's how women lie about their body count. I don't remember. It was 10. Phillips shared that it's not just the physical intimacy of having sex with so many men that made her feel so bad, but also by disappointing them and not being able to talk with them or being interested in doing so. She said that conversing with them was also hard and recounted how one man complained that they only chatted for about 2 minutes, and she had said beforehand they would talk for about 5 minutes. The OnlyFans creator continued to hold back tears, although her red puffy eyes showed she had already broken down. When she asked if she thinks she should feel bad about not talking with each man she slept with for a set amount of time, she said, I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down. The sex worker also admitted she hadn't processed what she did on the day, but she said she wouldn't forget the day of her emotional interview. The scene ends with her crying and being comforted. In another part of the documentary, Phillips shared that she wouldn't recommend doing what she had done and admitted it was more intense than she thought. It's not for the weak girls, if I'm being honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's a different feeling. It's not one in, one out. It feels intense, she said. Yet, despite discussing how bad betting 100 men in 24 hours was for her mental and physical health, Phillips recently declared that she plans to have sex with 1,000 men in a day. Phillips has claimed that she wants to take on the new challenge in January, 1,000 men in 24 hours. Men talent casting call, 18 and up only. She posted on social media. I dreamed it up with my assistant. I can't wait. It's very exciting and will be a world record, a real challenge. The current world record is held by Lisa Sparks, an adult film star who betted 919 men in one day at a sex industry event in Poland back in 2004. To be completely transparent with you all, the event is the one thing I regret doing in the 23 plus years in the corn industry to this day. This was also the only job I agreed to perform strictly for money. Sparks, known best by her corn name Lisa Sparks and her website. Sydney medical practitioner Dr. Zach Turner, who specializes in preventative health and wellness, warned that when pushed to the extremes, such activity could hurt the body. Sex at its core is a physically demanding activity that engages various muscles, the cardiovascular system, and the release of endorphins, he said. Done in moderation, it's akin to a rewarding workout, promoting stress relief, cardiovascular health, and emotional well-being. However, when pushed to the extremes, like a 24-hour sex marathon, the physical and physiological toll can be severe. Okay. So as you guys know, and we can expect, conservative Twitter really just ate this up. They really just, I want my brother to marry a woman that defends him as hard as church ladies defend corn stars. It's ridiculous. It's insane. I never get the benefit of the doubt with the trad cons on Twitter. Maybe it's because I talk about how dumb they are. But I never get it. It's always, you're not a real Christian, you hate women, da-da-da-da-da. I never get it. But the corn star and OnlyFans models, it's like your second chance, third chance, 10th chance. And I'm not saying we are for genuine conversions here. That's fine. That's great. But I need to see something. Now, she's not at the conversion stage yet. We'll wait another 6 months. So Billy Bragg says young women have been groomed into thinking they should be able to do this. We have gone from loose women have something wrong with them to the belief that women should be able to be loose, or there is something wrong with her. Decades of societal messaging has led us here. It's why I don't judge any of them. They're all victims to me. Okay, so when I was interviewing 1,000 people, now, as you guys know, I moved from Chicago to London a couple of years ago. I played volleyball in the UK for 3 years. And in that time, I launched a YouTube show that became one of the biggest shows in the United States at the time. And I would interview about 5 to 10 women every night. At one point, 6 days a week we had coming in. I was either casting or I was interviewing them myself. And once you actually start dealing with corn stars and women that are in the sex industry, you realize that they are not groomed or coerced at all. It's usually one of 3 or 4 things. 1, they like sexual variety, and from a young age, they were just never meant to be with one man. They do not have it in them. And they figure, well, I might as well monetize this because I will never be with one person. The second thing is they love the excitement. It's a fantasy to them. They enjoy having sex on camera with multiple men. They enjoy being desired that much by multiple men. They get a thrill out of it. They like doing things that society would say is bad. Like they get off on doing the wrong thing. Another reason that they do sex work, sometimes it's a money grab, it's easier than working. And it's just so interesting to me that everybody thinks the women are coerced. They think that, this says the look of dignity lost forever, a soul forfeited for notoriety, a life lost in those eyes. Sad. Then next we have, she's not forever lost, you wretched wretch. The blood of Christ washes all sins away and evil away and can make any person whole again. Oh my goodness, you guys drive me nuts. Then the next one, everyone keeps on hating on Lily Phillips, but ignored the 101 men who participated. The ratio of sick men to women is the reason few women have become this sick. Okay, so let me get this straight. If I put $1 million on the street for free, I say anybody can take this $1 million. Here, it's for you. Are we really going to blame people for taking it when she's giving out sex for free? Now, many people want to say that these women have no choice. They are just groomed and society pushes them to do this. Now, this woman, 1 to 10, I'm going to give her like, I would say 7. You guys agree with that? I mean, you guys are guys. You guys like women. So I want to hear, you can put it in the chat. I'd say 7, right? 7, maybe 8 before. I know it's kind of hard to rank her knowing what she's done, but just imagine she did it. She could have gone to golf courses and looked to marry rich. She could have did that. She could have said, you know what? All I want to do in life is marry rich. That would be more admirable than this. She could have said, you know what? I'm not really meant to be a wife, but do you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be a strong, independent woman, and I'm going to go into medical device sales. She could have gone into medical device sales. She's attractive enough to do it. You really need to be a 7 or higher. No one knocked on my door asking if I wanted to do medical device, but you get a big pair of fake boobs, boom, you're golden. Go do it. She could go make 6 figures doing that. And then, then she could be a strong, independent woman. She could go be a stripper. She could go strip, right? I mean, at least, maybe then she could get her sluttiness out there and not have sex with 100 men in one day. 100's a lot, right? All I'm saying, I mean, she could have went into the nunnery, but let's not say things that are never going to happen. All I'm saying is she had so many choices of things she could have done that all women are given. It's like, you want to go to school? Here. You guys want to be a prostitute? Oh, you want to be a prostitute from the comfort of your home? Here's OnlyFans. Oh, you want to be a social media influencer, an assistant, a teacher? Go ahead, do it. You want to go get a gender studies degree? Here you go. Nobody was coerced. She's an adult. Are women, and that's my question, are we adults who can make our own decisions? Or are we kids? Which one? Pick one, Tradcons. Was she coerced or did she make a choice? Does she have free will? Or is the free will dependent on the men? I don't know. Pick one. And then I always get that if men only led right, she wouldn't do this. Well, I actually watched the documentary and I'm going to show you guys a couple clips from it. I actually watched the full thing from beginning to end. And there was a lot of men that kept saying, are you sure you want to do this? The guy who was doing the documentary the whole time is saying, are you worried about STDs? Are you sure you can do this? So let's not, when we make bad decisions, right, as ladies, there is a million men along the way that say that's a bad idea. And if we don't listen, I mean, I say let us suffer, right? So, when we get into a bunch of debt, do most of the women that get a gender studies degree go to their dad and say, hey, dad, or maybe another guy in their life and say, hey, is this a good degree? Do you think I should get this? Or do they say, oh, that sounds fun, let me go? Do the ladies get spending money on Botox, hair, expensive gym memberships? Do they go to their male friends, their dad, and say, hey, could could you help me with this budget? Men love help. Men are the most helpful. I mean, men are just, they love feeling needed, right? If you appreciate them for it. So, we could do that. How many, it's not like nobody said, no one put a gun to her head and said, you must sleep with that many men in a day. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you guys some clips from this documentary. So I have 16-minute mark. Okay, so at this point in the documentary, she is talking about how, again, she's not traumatized by this stuff, but she enjoys it. Okay, you guys think I'm making this up? You think, Pearl, you're just making up that these women enjoy this stuff. They really secretly hate it.
But I think at the end of the day, people forget that it's also my fantasy. And this is also something that I'm really enjoying and want to do and have wanted to do before I was even in the industry.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently, she calls Lily every day.
Mum always calls me every day. What have you been up to today? I'm just getting railed. What are you? No, they're just...
Okay, so we have an involved mother, right? And okay, the other thing is there's this idea that the sex workers just had a really bad home life. And that doesn't help, right? I mean, a bad home life, it's not like a good, I mean, it's not going to contribute to making her a better person. But she's got two parents that love her and call her every day.
Just sort of checking in on me.
She's checking in on her.
You've obviously spoken to your parents about this, right?
I actually haven't. My parents know what I do, but I'm not on the phone to them every day going, I just got DP'd, I'm 17 guys today, or this and that. They don't need to know the logistics.
Of course.
I do feel a little bit embarrassed being like, Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do.
Okay, there we go. Did she have someone to give? She had two people she could have went to for guidance, and did she? No. The next mark was the 26-minute mark where she says that she gets off on this and she enjoys it. Now, a lot of people want to say ban corn. Ban this stuff. We just got to ban it. I really don't see that being a good strategy. One, it's going to be so difficult to get women like this to stop. I think it sounds nice on a podcast. Like I see people tweet it all the time. Ban corn. Ban it. Okay, that's not... do you know the police power? I mean, that's going to take way too much work. All I say is let them face the consequences. Let them suffer. Let them fail.
I think it's more if someone's to my face. I can imagine that's what's put another guy off.
So you would let these guys do that on your face?
Yeah.
And in your mouth?
Yeah.
What if they had HIV?
Is that where it comes from?
Okay, so now he's saying, okay, you're going to let the guys finish on you. You might get AIDS. Is that where it comes from? Okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Was spunk in the mouth?
It can.
Oh, really? See, I've never really thought about that. Last time when I did it, all of them could in their mouths. I can't really explain it. I get serotonin, from when people are like, oh my God, you're that on the internet. Sounds crazy.
I know, and I know you're saying that to me right here, but I don't believe that.
Really?
No.
This is, okay, it's the dynamic. She's saying, I get serotonin from being by all these men. And he's saying, I don't believe you. They do. I promise to God they do.
I kind of love ruffling feathers a little bit and people getting a bit agitated by maybe the fact that people think I'm so sad and stuff like that. But that could not be further from the truth. I don't think people realize how happy this makes me. But I just think it's so funny and fun. I can't really put it into words.
Have you done anything to...
I can't put it into words how happy this makes me. I am so glad that we have social media now because I think when I tell these stories, people think I'm crazy. When I tell the stories of the sex workers that I've met that enjoyed what they did, everyone thinks I'm insane. Until now. Okay, 42-minute mark. Let's see. It's after she did all the sexing. If you guys want to see, this is on Josh Peters' channel. You can watch the whole thing. Okay, this is.
Is that real?
Yeah, he's not good with smells.
Lily then walked us through the process that she had repeated 100 times that day.
Come on in, make yourself at home, take your shoes off. I've got some hangers here if you want to put your coat up.
Nice.
Come on in. Where you travel from today? Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get you on the bed, make yourself comfortable,
Yeah.
take off your trousers, and we're going to have a fun time. And I'll give them the phone camera. I'll just say, I'm guessing you don't want your face in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it'll be POV phone camera.
Yeah.
I'll start usually with a job, and then I say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we kind of got straight into
And
it.
did you do the with a condom on or?
No,
No.
I
condom off
didn't.
for the-
Condom off.
Okay, but then like once they're having sex and it's like
Yeah, condom
on type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It does smell a lot like
So did she say when they started, they had it all? Ugh. Ew! Oh my gosh, this girl's gonna get AIDS.
I mean, and
Diseases sometimes can be cured, others can't. They said, look, guys, there is too much money in fixing women's poor decisions. If you want to make money, you just invest in something, which is undoing a decision that we made previously. Example, tattoo removal. That's going to come back. If somebody could reverse menopause, I doubt it, but they would be really rich. Now, the AIDS thing, now we're having people live long lives with AIDS. That was unheard of. There's too much money in this stuff.
and there's Rose. That's nice. Did one of the guys?
Rose.
And how are you feeling?
Surprisingly, downstairs is not really sore.
Okay.
It's more just tired. My eyes sting like nothing else.
Why?
So part of the reason she was tearing up is because her eyes sting.
Because of all the cum in it. I think I repeatedly said, you can come on my face, but not in my eye.
And they just went right at the eyes.
Well, I think like it might have been an accident. But no, I mean, I've definitely seen some spunk today, Jesus.
Yeah, so then next, we're going to go to 44-minute mark where she says she feels bad. We're going to watch the full clip.
You know, when I talked to you last, like I was not nervous. It was like the day before. I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. But it was good. It was more, I guess the interactions when like I'd have to stop them early and like you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go. And like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to make them come if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like.
No, I got no sympathy because this is still easier than a lot of men's jobs. I asked my brother's best friend works for my dad, and I asked him today. I said, for $1 billion, would you be gay? Would you hook up with a guy for $1 billion? One time, you're set for life. He said a lot of men, I mean, if it's enough money, they'll do it too. You know what? I actually met a couple male OnlyFans models. They don't get paid out nearly as much, but they weren't gay, allegedly, but they said they were for money. They realized it's easier than doing that.
They didn't.
They said no. Okay, I'm not saying you guys would do it. I'm just saying there's harder jobs than this, okay? And I don't buy. I think when they say they're so broken and da-da-da-da-da, I think maybe they have remorse because of the decisions, the consequences later. But now the corn stars are getting married. I think most of the time it's just a rebrand.
like you didn't give them a good time because like they only got
So she's mad, not because she regrets it, but because she didn't give them a good enough time. That's good customer service, I'll tell you what. She is very proud of her brand.
minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Like, kind of like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad, like some people just travel so far, like I didn't want to give them a shit time and like come away from this and be like, oh, that was shit. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do.
Now we have to think about the incentives here, right? We have to go back to the incentives. The incentive is if she cries after, she sells more OnlyFans. If she makes this, we all know in a story, the more ups and downs there are in a story, the better it sells. So do I buy this for a second? Not really. I don't. And I'm sorry that I think you guys are all dumb if you buy it. You know, I'm not gonna, maybe I should be more respectful, but I didn't buy it when I was in high school, and they would always, I went to a Catholic high school, and they would bring in chastity speakers every year. And every year they would bring in some couple where the woman, her testimony was that she got ran through, and the man's testimony was that he cleaned up her mess after. And that's what we keep seeing, right? We see women get married and then the men have to clean up after. So now here she made a poor decision that everyone warned her against. And now the men are expected to give her what? Sympathy after? Please. Please. It's completely fake. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next story today. I saw a video yesterday that made me think, okay? And this was a video, it was of another conservative comment. You guys know how I feel. I don't really think there's conservative women, not really anymore. There was a conservative commentator talking about the trend of women rethinking 50-50 relationships. And what we're going to see now is non-traditional women asking for things they don't deserve. So to start this show, when I'm talking about traditional women versus modern women, I want to clarify what I'm talking about. So, let me. All right, testing. You good? Okay. Now, I decided to make a chart of traditional versus 50-50. Actually, I like the word modern better. So I want to make a chart of things that are more traditional versus more modern. So traditional would be arranged marriage. Or I will even give you young marriage. Now, young marriage, I am going to define as below 25. So if you get married below 25 with the intent of having kids in the next couple years. So your first kid or let's say 3+ kids is more traditional. The reason that 3+ kids is more traditional is because birth control, modern. That's modern. Traditional, natural family planning. So modern would be tattoos. Modern is going to be plastic, surgery. Young marriage, I'm going to say kids had below 25. Oh, wait, I can spell. Below 25. So at least the first one, right? Like maybe I'll give you if you had your first kid at 24. Okay, and then you had the 3 kids in your 20s plus. I really think it should be 4 plus. Maybe it's because I'm from a family of a million kids, but we'll give them 3 plus, okay? Just out of the kindness of my heart. Now, modern career. And I would like to clarify, there's no right or wrong. If anything, doing a show interviewing 1,000 women made me convinced that there are many women that should never have children ever because they are so irresponsible that I just cannot imagine them bringing up a child. God help us. I would meet women that would come on my show, and I would always ask the question, there would be women I could text, and within a half hour, they would be there. And one of them had 4 children. And every night I would think to myself when she would come, who is watching your kids? Who is doing it? Because it's not you. You're too available. You're at too many of the events with the women with no kids. This isn't making sense. Okay, so let's see. Career, plastic surgery. Let's say plastic surgery, tattoo. Let's say debt, right? If you have a lot of debt, tattoos, OnlyFans is modern, porn, modern, slutty behavior. Now, what's traditional? If we're going to go back to the real traditional, virginity. Now, this is why people think, I have a friend on Twitter, his name's Luffy. Now, Luffy is famous on Twitter because he replies to women that will signal traditional. So they'll wear the flower dress. They'll talk about how bad feminism is. They'll talk about how they want to have a lot of kids and how they'll try to signal that they are traditional. And he always asks the question, did you lose your virginity to your husband? And they get very angry because the answer is usually no. Now, again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm saying one is traditional and one is modern. I'm going to check the chat really quick and see if you guys have anything to add to traditional versus modern. Let's see. Natural hair color. I can add that. I think natural hair color. I can't see anything else. Body count. No. Oh, yeah, no piercings. Okay. I'll add that next to tattoos, piercings, hair dye. Can you think of anything else? What am I missing? Nothing. I think I covered it, but if you think of anything, I'll add it. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. Social media is, public is much more modern. Now, again, I'm not saying one's right or wrong. I don't care how modern or traditional you are. If you're a nice person and you're modern, you're a nice person. If you're a nice person and you're traditional, then you're a nice person. Okay. I'm going to go back down. Oh, someone said no therapist. Okay. So now we're in the. Oh, let me turn. Did I turn it off now? Right. Okay. Now we have the challenge where the ladies are, if you look on there, modern on the right, but they want traditional outcomes. So now you have the ladies getting mad that they have to work. Now, so it's interesting because this conservative commentator, I'm gonna watch this and then we'll go through it together.
And saying, honey, I do not have the money to pay the mortgage, the rent, the bills this month. And it's creating a lot of discourse online. And it's sort of become a new relationship test to see whether or not you should leave your man. And people online have much to say about whether or not women should be in traditional relationships where the man provides, or the new 50-50 that seems to be the norm these days. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, we're going to be looking into this new relationship test where you go up to your hubby or your boyfriend and say, I don't have the money to pay the mortgage or rent.
I'm going to say relationship tests on social media modern. Some of them are funny. I'm not hating, but modern.
We're going to start with a 50-50 couple, meaning they split their finances 50-50. Now, this couple is getting a lot of heat on the internet. They are telling this woman to leave her husband because of her response to this trend.
Hey, babe. Babe.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry. Listen, I know we both have to go to work here in a minute, but I just needed to tell you that with everything and how busy it's all been, that we're not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to pay the rent this month.
Well,
like, it's just Black Friday, all the holiday shopping, Christmas, like, I don't know what to do.
babe, I love you, but I don't even know who we pay our rent to.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Can you get like an extension, or I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can call him and see. But, like, what do we do if, like, we can't pay the rent?
I don't know.
Like, they have a grace period. We're still okay, but... Like, I think we get a late fee, do you know? Yeah, so I know we get, like, a late fee if it's paid after, I think, like, the 5th or the 6th. But, yeah, I can't pay it.
So, like, do they kick us out, or like?
I think.
Okay. I thought I was going to be laughing more for this trend. I'm not laughing at this. You know what? I got to be honest. 50-50 is what a lot of couples have to do these days, especially in this economy.
Okay, I want you to notice her language. 50-50 is what couples have to do. Now, this is a get out of jail free card. Because going 50-50 was a conscious choice by the ladies. We could have, again, society lets us do anything. Now, oftentimes the ladies, we love to push it on everybody else. So we say, well, you have to go to college. No, you don't. If you don't want to, you don't. And whenever women want to make a really bad decision, we have a tendency to make it no matter what anybody tells us. We don't like to listen. Not all women, YouTube, not all. So you could say the same thing about a good decision. If somebody really wants to make a good or a different decision, they will do it if they want to. Most of America is fat. And if you want to lose weight, you would take the choices to do it, right?
So a lot of women have no choice but to be in 50-50 relationships.
Again, the ladies choose it. They choose it. Choice. You know, okay, let's say being a housewife is your goal and you want to achieve that. You get in really good shape. You get a low-paying job near where high-earning men live at a young age. Set your dating app there. Go on a couple dates a week. Or flirt with them at work. Golf cart girl. Clerk at a law firm. I can think of like a million assistant to high-earning men. Bartender at members clubs. You know, one time, so my dad, he bought box seats once to a game. And it was the only time, I think it was like his friend's box seat, and we just got them because someone he knew had them or whatever. And I remember there was a woman that came by that would serve dessert. So she would come by and bring like the dessert cart. And I remember thinking that woman, she was very morbidly obese. And I was thinking, you know, the amount of rich men up here is probably more than most people will ever meet in their life. You are missing the opportunity of a lifetime. Of a lifetime. Most women will never be in a room with men that wealthy. And this woman was just squandering it away, being 300 pounds. Nobody's going to look twice. So again, this is like a get out of jail free card where nobody's responsible for the choices I mean, even men, right? It's rare, right? But if a man really wanted to be a house husband, what would be the choices he could do to get there? He could get really jacked, get in really incredibly good shape, and target high-earning women that are a bit older, maybe fatter. Now, you could say, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to date a 50-year-old cougar. Well, the ladies do it. Feminism right back, you know. I'm just saying, then we have a plan. Then we have like a what do you want?
Even if that's not what they want. With that being said, if you're going to be in a 50-50 relationship, maybe the man should have some solutions. It's not really the financial dynamic. It's more the attitude that he's bringing to this new problem that they're both.
Why? Now, again, why are we not responsible? So if she's being irresponsible and she has signed up, she's opted into 50% of the rent, why does he have to bail her out when she doesn't do it? Why do we expect men to solve our problems? The women, I mean, the men don't expect us to solve their problems. And again, we've had all these years of feminism saying we want equality, and the choices, not the words, the choices are still modern. So, like, again, this is just becoming entitlement.
Experiencing or this fictitious problem. I would prefer he stand up and go, okay, I wasn't ready for this issue to pop up, but I got to figure out what I'm going to do about this. And I got to figure out how.
Again, see, it goes back to you must solve my irresponsibility. You must solve. Now, again, if the ladies were staying for life, I mean, that would be, oh, I should have put that up there, divorce. If the ladies were actually staying and not divorcing, it would make sense. Okay, at least we get the loyalty from the women. We know they're not going to leave. But conservative women divorce just as much as liberal women. So now, why would the man put in all of this extra money to pay for you when it's more likely, or there's at least a 50-50 shot that you're going to stay? Wouldn't it make more sense from a guy's point of view to have her work the first 10 years? Let's make sure she stays. I understand if there's a kid, maybe that's different, but is it? I mean, it's 1, not 10, 1 on average.
We're going to cross our T's and dot our I's, and I'm going to get up and have some solutions here. Instead, he's saying, I don't know who we pay our rent to or how we pay the rent. I don't know what happens if we come up with a late rent payment. I don't know what to do in response to this, and sort of throws the problem back onto her, which for me doesn't really work. It's not very masculine. I'm going to need some solutions.
Yeah, so then this goes back to the common conservative trope. You're not a real man if you don't bail me out of my bad decisions. You're not a real man if you don't man up and marry these hoes. You're not a real man. I mean, that's what they keep saying.
In trust, this couple is already getting enough heat online, so I don't want to necessarily add to that. People are commenting up a storm. The first comment says, you know what? Hell no. Take me back to provider talk, meaning they want to see the versions of this with the providers rather than this 50-50 thing. He literally had no solutions. Embarrassing. Oh, okay. I like the ones where the man is the provider. And somebody else said, thank you for marrying him. Somebody had to. And I'm glad it wasn't me. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know if she was ready for that. I think there's a lot of people who sort of film these moments in their relationships and they're posting it online thinking it's going to be funny. Ha ha. And then it doesn't end up being funny at all. I wish her well. And you know what? We're just seeing a small sliver of their relationship. I'm sure they have a good, fun dynamic going on, and hopefully she is happy where she is. But I think, like the comments suggest, we're gonna move on to the provider relationships and see what the difference is.
Hey, babe. So I checked my account today, and
Your account?
yeah, and I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Well, you're not gonna what?
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Well, hell, you don't ever pay the fucking mortgage anyway. So what's fucking changed?
I was just gonna let you know that I can't pay it this month.
Oh, well, thanks for letting me know.
I like that there's a good energy about that. And, you know, we're just comparing, you know, two separate videos. There's a lot within these relationships that we're not seeing, but there does seem to be a certain comfortability there. And of course, you know, it's hard for him to believe considering she's never paid the mortgage in the first place. But it's interesting to just watch a man go full force and say, what are you talking about? You don't even pay a mortgage. Let's watch another one while we're on provider talk.
Babe, I can't pay the mortgage this month.
What?
I can't pay the mortgage this month. I'm so sorry.
Do we have another house?
No.
What mortgage are you paying?
I just can't pay it.
Why would you pay the mortgage?
I just thought I'd help, but I can't.
Help with what?
The mortgage. I can't pay it.
When do you ever pay the mortgage?
I thought I'd start.
Why?
To help you.
Like to buy a second house?
No, this house.
The one we live in?
Yeah.
Why did you pay for the house we live in?
Because I live here. I want to help.
No, you live here. You don't pay for it.
Yeah, but
okay.
I wanted to help you.
No help necessary. You do more than enough with this, that, and that.
Yeah, but you help a lot too. So I wanted to help you.
Yeah, but this is my job.
Okay.
Okay, he said, this is my job. Music to my ears. I'm starting to wonder whether or not this is a skit.
Now, the interesting thing I'm going to point out, I looked it up before this show. What percent of married women do you think get to stay at home? What percent, guys? What percent? 1 out of 4. Meaning, you got to be in the top quarter of women in order to get that. So what is going to happen here is this is going to be selling dreams to ladies that will not get this because unfortunately we've made terrible decisions. Unfortunately, I don't say this in like a happy way. And what they're going to do is instead of saying, ladies, make better decisions so you can get that, what it's going to turn into is, men, you're not real men if you don't do this. And it's going to be shaming language of, if you don't pay for women that statistically will leave at some point, you are not a real man.
With how perfect
they said, yep, it's selling dreams. I'm going to check the chat really quick. I like to interact with you guys. You go to the website, theaudacitynetwork.com, $10 a month, and I read your chats. It's such a simple, it's on the App Store, links in the description. Okay. All right, as 100 men, 12 hours is 69 minutes for each. Numbers are so fun. So for her to do 1,000 men in a day, I think that is 1.44 minutes each for men for 24 hours straight. Can a man get in and out in 1.5 minutes? Is that even possible? As long as you believe it, you can fake it till you make it. Rob 6. My sister did her PhD thesis on 45 years ago that prostitutes are basically grape scenarios on a continuous basis. She would argue that point till her dying days. Edward, you're on your own network, but still censor yourself for YouTube. It's so ridiculous to say corn because YouTube won't allow you to say porn. The nanny state is disgusting. I don't, then get more of you to sign up for my website and I'll only stream there. I don't know what to tell you, All right, please call Save Indian Family Foundation. She has not been on point in her explanation of the situation. The person who died was associated with the SIFF Foundation. She's a feminist. Well, you can have them message me. Okay, let me go back.
Answers are with everything. And of course, I'm in a more traditional mindset. I do like the...
Okay, but notice she says traditional mindset. Not traditional actions, okay? I'm gonna take it down for 1 second, but I'm gonna do some research. So Amala Prager University. Age, okay, she's 24, so she's got 1 year to get a ring before she goes from my left board to my right board. Then I'm gonna go on her and let me see my other page. Go on Instagram. And by the way, this is not an insult. I'm just pointing out the difference between actions and words. Okay. Okay, hold on, guys. I have to get into my Instagram. I got locked out so I can look up her Instagram because I'm pretty sure she's got a sleeve tattoo. I'm not positive. I don't want to say that. I'm just going to Google it. Amala sleeve tattoo. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so, this just kind of looks like one of the... Have you seen those, like your trad wife, sir? And it's not meant to be a knock. It's not what they're like selling, right? Because if we look at words, actions, they differ. Okay, let me go back. Hold on. Oh, here we go.
Roles and leaning into them, for I feel like it brings about healthier dynamics within relationships. Now, that is not the case for all. Some people really don't want that dynamic within their relationship, and they don't feel like it plays to their strengths. With my outlook on relationships, I feel like it's better for women to lean into their femininity, and this involves the nurturing and taking care of the household and children, which is...
Okay. I think that some women, not all, use wanting to be a housewife as a way to not work and be lazy. The reason I think this is because when I was going into divorce documents, it shocked me how many stay-at-home wives still had nannies. What on earth? Especially from wealthy men. So, the Crowder divorce was one. They had a nanny 40 to 60 hours a week while she's touting on social media she's a stay-at-home wife. Now, obviously, that's the ideal, but it's only the ideal if they're really involved in their kid's life. And again, once the kid is 4, I still go back to the question, what are you doing all day? Now, again, we can go to more traditional areas like the Amish. I would never say that they're not doing stuff all day. But sometimes I think women just want that as a get out of jail free card. Oh, I'm traditional now, but I was liberal before. It just...
hard work, where men go out and do their own version of hard work that brings the resources to make sure everything stays up and running. And it seems like they have a very healthy relationship, at least in this small clip that we've seen, that's working out based on those gendered roles. I don't know, there's just an underlying energy of security that exists within the videos where the man is providing and he goes, what are you talking about? You don't have to worry about that. And as a woman, it's kind of nice to be able to shut off your brain, at least to some capacity, and not have to worry about these things and know that somebody's got you in that respect. Whereas when we watch that 50-50 video, not only is that woman not supported financially, which is something, a lot of us have to deal with, and that's just the nature of the world these days, but she does.
A lot of us have to deal with like paying for yourself like an adult. We're having 1.5 kids, not 7. 1.
Doesn't seem to be supported mentally either as far as tackling problems as they arise. And this is not to bring down all 50-50 couples. I know there are many out there where the man is...
Let me get this straight. She says, I made the mistake of not paying the mortgage because I spent too much shopping. I respect the men more that say, figure it out, deal with the problem you caused. Now, it's one thing if that's the traditional, that's what their arrangement, right? But I'm just not Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm just really not, if you spend a bunch of money shopping, I don't know why you wouldn't have to figure it out.
Is ready for solutions as soon as a problem pops up. Just seems like that first video maybe got us off on the wrong foot. We'll watch one more of the providers just for fun.
Babe, so I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month because I did a little too much Christmas shopping.
Like our house mortgage?
Yeah.
Do you even know how to pay the house mortgage? Like, you don't pay the house mortgage, babe.
Ooh, the difference between I don't know how to pay the mortgage and do you even...
See, again, it's going back to it's almost like a subtle training. Like, do exactly as I want and I view as good, or you're not as good of a man. You're lesser, right?
Know how to pay the mortgage. Astounding.
I know, but I just shopped a little too much, so I'm sorry I can't help you this month.
You did help. You went shopping. Like, that's what you do. That's what your pay is for. Like, you go shopping and you have fun. Like, don't you know? Your money is your money and my money is our money. Like, the bills are paid. The mortgage has been paid. What do you mean?
So you're not mad?
Why would I be mad? You never pay the mortgage. Like, what's the difference this month?
Because I shopped a little too much, and so I can't help you.
Did you get the things you wanted?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're fine. Like, the bills are paid and you went shopping. Oh, well, like, I get paid again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, he said, put it to bed. You don't gotta worry about it. Who's stressed? Not me. You know what? I find it hard to believe that most women do not want this sort of relationship. I know there's gonna be many who say they don't care, and even men.
I'm not saying they don't want it. I'm saying you don't get it. I'm saying statistically, you will not get this. It's not gonna happen. Out of married women, so out of the women that get married, which half won't. Out of the ones that stay married, half will divorce. Or, sorry, out of the ones that get married, half divorce. Out of the ones that are still married, a quarter get one spouse to stay home. It's 23%. It's selling dreams. This is the problem with social media. So now you got the teacher. You know, she's got her kid in public school. She teaches at the school, and she goes home and says, Bob, I was looking at Provider Talk. Why don't you do this? He's like, wait. I like the 50-50. The kid's old. Get a job. She's no, Provider Talk.
Many who are looking exactly for a 50-50 relationship, but my goodness, I'd prefer this. I prefer this one. And I feel like many of the single women that I know, as somebody who's in my 20s in LA, they're looking for this too. They're just finding it a little difficult to find. And of course,
now again, bored. Which one? Are they woman on the left or woman on the right? It's fine. Most women are on the right. It's okay. I'm not saying you're a bad person. But left, right. Which one?
there is the reality that 50-50 is the norm because in many ways it has to be. With the economy, a lot of people have to be in dual income households where...
No! You don't have to be. You made the choice not to be. You're telling me, okay, if at 18 years old you said, I'm going to be a housewife, I will marry rich, this is what you would have. If you wanted this, this is what you would know. You would know exactly what professions make a lot of money. You would have a list. You would know, okay, doctors make this much. They'll want to have kids on average in their 40s after medical school, or maybe you have to meet them at the medical school. Maybe there's one near you. I don't know. Lawyers. I don't know what you're into. Engineers. Maybe you want to be an MLB baseball wife. Okay. Well, are you hot? If not, are you going to go get surgery to get hot? No? Okay. Do you know where they hang out? Have you researched where they hang out? Well, I don't care what it is, but what choices have you made? Are you young? Did you make that when you have the most bargaining power? It's okay if you didn't. All I'm saying is choices It's just annoying me. Okay.
They're both carrying a little bit of the weight. But I'm also seeing this push towards the cultural norm of 50-50.
Yeah, because what's happening is we made all these modern decisions and now we said, yeah, we want the traditional back. And the men are saying, hell no. They're saying, F that. You're going to give me 1.5 kids, 2 kids tops. I'm not signing up for that.
That not only are we forced to be in this dynamic, but we should expect that in our relationships. And a video that went super viral recently that really pointed this out to me was actually American men being asked about 50-50 relationships and then Russian men being asked about that very same dynamic.
Okay, I think we get the idea here. But this is what conservatism has not caught up with. So I looked up 23% have one spouse that stays home of married couples. 50% of women, millennial women, which is 28 to like 42 or something, roughly there, are married. And guess what percent of women that are Gen Z are making traditional decisions? So 3%, 3.75% of Gen Z women are married. Gen Z, I think that's up to 26 right now. 27. Yeah, so up to 27. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying the data, if I pull Gen Z women, it says men are 7th in priorities. 7th. Okay, okay. Now, there's this idea too that we deserve to stay home. If you have 3 kids, I'm going to give it to you. You could stay home. I mean, the kids go to preschool at like 3, 4. So that's like a decade, right? Okay. But, you know, I was doing the math on this. You could become a server, $31,000 a year. A secretary, $44,000 a year. Journalism, $72,000 a year. I just looked up the average. Teacher salary, $71,000. Hairdresser, $43,000. So I'm thinking, and I'm just going to do some calculations. So let's do the lowest paid of all of those, $31,000. And let's say the woman has 2 kids and stays home with them. Even in this model, stays home with them till the kid is 5. Okay, let's say they have a 40-year marriage. So they have a decade of the mom staying home. She goes back to work at a server. I mean, $31,000 times 30, that's $1 million. You don't want to help? You don't think that would be pretty helpful to your husband, who on average makes $65,000 a year? No. Why do you deserve to? Again, I'm not right or wrong, but you know, we're leaving after. And I saw a woman that sort of shared this sentiment on TikTok.
I make it.
And I just thought it was really cute here. Let me pull this. It's the same trend here.
Canceled for this, but I don't want my husband to just work and pay bills. I don't want him to not have a hobby. I don't want him to not have healthy mental health. I don't want him to not have savings. I don't want him to work and slave all day, every day to take care of my bills, our bills, and me just sit there and not contribute anything. This is coming from a young lady who has never been married. I don't have any kids. I have a dog. I'm fully educated, pay my own bills right now, and it is difficult. I have a great career, and it is difficult. So when I think of getting married and building with someone or coming together and bringing our assets together, I could never lay in my bed knowing that my husband has no life and no freedom and maybe no peace because all he does is work. And
because when you think about it, we worked in the past. We just worked on farms. and now society has changed. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to do a traditional relationship. Clearly, there are benefits, but what I don't like is the entitlement. That is what drives me crazy. Okay, so I think that's, what are we, 5 o'clock? Yeah. Okay, guys, I think that's all we got today. Let me know what you think in the comments and go to theaudacitynetwork.com. I'm going to read our comments from the network page right now. I generally do it in between stories. That's when I look at the chat. Let me go. Okay. Until content creators stop drawing their audience to platforms that censor, the censorship won't end. We need to break free and tell YouTube to shove it. Well, go to theaudacitynetwork.com. Thank you, Edward. Edward did, but we got to get enough members on the website to go completely on the website. So we can build up to it eventually, but we just got to get enough. Battlestar for the win. Everyone keeps talking about the she economy, but most of the 20 to 30-year-old women I know are broke AF. They're literally choosing to live like peasants over being subservient to a man. Well, what's interesting, she said they'd rather friend zone a stable provider and get spun out by Chad on weekends. What's interesting is they are serving men, but they're serving men at large. So, for example, they work at a daycare instead of having their own kids. We work do Uber Eats instead of cooking. Like, we deliver food to men oftentimes. But we do make most of the buying decisions because we spend so much more money. Oftentimes we don't have it, but we do. There's no traditional marriages because of the state. There's no truly independent media because of YouTube. Even if they do wake up one day, Big says, even if they do wake up one day, which many don't, they no longer qualify for a committed relationship with all of the emotional trauma and damage. Big says, is Pearl following the chat? I am. Oh, wait, one more. Pearl, the Indian guy who committed self-delete, was asked to pay $360,000. Wow. That's a lot. Okay, guys. Make sure you go get my merch at justpearlymerch.com. We have equal rights, equal left shirts, so go check them out. Like the video on your way out, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you tomorrow. See ya.